Today, you'll meet a woman who says high carbohydrate diets don't work, high protein diets don't work, and even fat-free diets don't work. She says these diets may even make you fatter. Cathi Graham is the founder of the Fresh Start Metabolism program. Today, she gives us the key to weight loss. Please help me welcome Cathi Graham. And congratulations.
Thanks.
Good
Thank
for
you,
you.
Kirsten.
Now, take us back. It was over 10 years ago.
Right.
What was it like? How did you feel?
When I was overweight, I was low energy. That's the #1 thing I remember. My feet always hurt, my back hurt, and it really affected how I felt about me. But I'd have to say physically, it also affected my energy level and things like this.
Well, we have a before and after picture we're going to show everybody, and you can see this dramatic difference. This was taken in 1982, and as I mentioned, this dramatic difference between then and now.
Right.
What do you think of when you see that?
Well, you know, the first thing I think of is how many crazy diets I went on. That's the ironic thing. Most people who see somebody overweight, they think that they're not doing anything about it. I had every book in the world. In fact, the more diet books I had, the bigger I got. I tried every diet out there, you name it, the protein diet, the delicious shakes, the grapefruit diet, just everything and anything, because you're so desperate. And you really, and then I went through the denial stage. I'm not fat, nothing's wrong.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy, yeah. I wasn't happy. And when I do meet people like that who are obese and they say they're happy, I say good for them. But I have to be honest, I wasn't. And I was always trying to lose the weight. Even when I wasn't thinking about it, I was reading about it or whatever. It's like my hobby.
You were obsessed to a
I
point.
was obsessed, yeah.
Okay. How did you get off the yo-yo dieting?
Well, I went on one of these diets. I stuck right to it, and I mean faithful. I drank the water. I ate the rabbit food. I did all the things it said. I got on the scales, and on the 3rd day, I had actually gained a pound.
Ah!
Yeah. Out went the scales, and I almost went out too. I said, no more, I can't do it. Not only physically couldn't I do it, but emotionally I couldn't do it. And that's when I knew something wrong was with the bot. There was something wrong, and I knew I had to do something. And like I told you before, I did a lot of work emotionally on myself, but also I had to do something with the body because my metabolism had slowed down. And I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I wasn't losing weight any longer.
So you decided to do something. What did you do?
Well, what I did was I took 2 years off. I was fortunate enough at that time. I had saved up my money and I said, I'm going to make me my project. And that's what I did. I went to university studies. I went to health clinics. I read everything and anything I could get my hands on about metabolism. And something else happened right around that time. You know what's in right now? I mean, what everybody eats is carbohydrates, right?
You mean like pastas and...
Right. Bagels and rice and baked potatoes, and they're good for us.
Well, they are.
Well, maybe.
Okay.
Listen up. This is the news. Back in '82, they were not in. It was very out.
They were fattening.
Right. They were fattening. Protein was in. It was all the high protein diets, if you remember. Okay, the Scarsdale and a few other ones like that. And I tried them. And by the way, I would lose weight. But A, it was I never felt good. I mean emotionally good. B, I didn't like it because I'm not a protein lover. And C, I knew I couldn't stay on it. So the protein for me was out. And the carbohydrates were taboo back then. So what I did was I fluked into something that was the answer to my weight loss.
Okay.
But it was a total fluke.
Don't wait a second longer. Tell us.
Okay. And I really mean this. It was a total fluke. It was not something that, I had really studied and everything. But now, in the next couple of years, that's all you're going to be hearing about. And what I'm about to tell you is some foods that we've been told are good for us and healthy for us and everything like that are actually making us fatter. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Not good news.
But the good news is there's other foods that actually burn off our fat and other foods that make us feel fuller longer and make the body burn off its fat naturally. But so here I was in '82, protein diet, very well known, carbos taboo. So what I did was I decided I couldn't eat that much protein. I just couldn't. It wasn't in my nature, and I just didn't enjoy it. So what I decided to do was balance the two of them. And I wasn't counting calories, but I was a person that was an emotional eater, okay? I did like food. You know, other people would say, you know, do drugs or do you drink? Or I said I do food. It's something I enjoy. I like to eat. So what I decided to do was, instead of just having my 2 meals like I used to on diets, like I would starve and then I'd have 2 big meals, I decided to have 5 little meals all throughout the day. So I always knew I was going to have some food. I didn't know, but this actually is another key to weight loss. So I was balancing my food, my protein and my carbs, and I was eating little meals all throughout the day. And now the newest research proves that these 2 factors not only help you lose weight, but they also help your moods, your energy level, everything.
Sounds like your life.
Yeah.
So how actually does it work?
How it works is when you eat excess carbohydrates, which is what all the programs tell you. Like, I bet you anything, when we go talk to the audience, they'll tell us what they're eating, and they're going to say the baked potato,
ask me. Yes.
the pasta, the rice. Don't get me wrong, they are healthy. They're high in nutrients, they're good and healthy. But what happens is when you eat a lot of carbohydrates, the blood sugar rapidly increases in the body. So when this happens, the pancreas gets the message to secrete the hormone insulin. Insulin, what its job is twofold. Number 1, it brings down the blood sugar, yes, but number 2, and most terribly what it does, is it is the hormone that actually makes us fatter. Its total job in the body is to take the excess carbohydrates and store them as fat in case there's a famine or something like this.
And your body thinks it needs food.
Exactly. So the insulin's job is not only to take the excess carbs and store them as fat, but its other job is to hold on to that fat for dear life. And you know, it's interesting. I do live radio and TV talk shows all the time. One of the questions I get every single time when the people call up is, Cathi, I'm eating the fat-free this, I'm eating the bagels, I'm eating the rice, I'm eating the pasta, I'm taking my little walk every day, I'm even starting to walk faster and faster, and I can't lose this weight no matter what. Too much insulin makes you fat, period. Whether it's fat-free, and this is the real kicker, what interests me is it doesn't matter if it's complex carbohydrates or if it's simple carbohydrates. Too much carbohydrates create too much insulin. Too much insulin stores it as fat.
But Cathi, can we still have our baked potatoes and our pastas?
There's a way around it.
Tell me.
I like to eat. Remember? I told you that right from the top. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you, how to get around it. There's a little bit of balancing we have to do and things like this. But there's no more starving. There's no more counting calories. There's no more eating carrot sticks. Okay? And there's living in the real world and still losing our weight.
So we can eat and live, too.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the more small meals you eat throughout the day, the better for the insulin. So the key is to keep the insulin constant, not to have it come up, not to have it come down, to keep it constant. There's foods that will do that, and there's other foods that will raise it. And they did this, they took a study on this. What they did, they tested individuals, and they gave them 1 ounce portions of different carbohydrate foods to see how the body would react, the blood sugar, how it would react in the system. Some of these foods would make the blood sugar rise too rapidly and skyrocket. And as soon as that happens, it's just like the insulin. The pancreas secretes it, and when the pancreas secretes that much insulin, hello, what happens is we're going to store it as fat. So they went and took all these tests, and they found out that some carbohydrates that you would never ever think of, for instance, carrot sticks, I threw out as a joke.
Yes, a diet food.
You can't get too much more diety. Guess what?
What?
It secretes as much insulin as a small candy.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah.
My heavens.
Yeah,
so diet foods can make you fat.
Some diet foods can actually make you fatter.
Okay, we're going to find out some of those diet foods that make you feel fat.
When we left off, we were talking about foods that raise the insulin level and make us fat. What this is called is the glycemic index of foods. So we want to take the foods that don't raise the insulin and keep it nice and level. These foods I'm about to show you do just the opposite. They raise the blood sugar.
All right, but what about our bagels?
There's a way around this one. Most breads, not all of them, because I'm going to show you other ones that keep the insulin level nice and moderate, but bagels, unless they're the whole grain, if they're the really, really whole grain ones, they're fine. But if they're the fluffy ones that you get, you know, four for a dollar kind of thing, they're going to raise the insulin level. So try to get a very coarse. Okay, the way to tell is when you bite into it, if it melts, not good. It raises the blood sugar. If it's really, really, you know, you have
to work at it.
Yeah, and it's coarse and grainy, A-okay.
Okay, well, all right, moving right along. What about now, Kathy? These can't possibly be anything but diet foods for you. They've got to be all great.
Right, unfortunately, not so. The papaya and the mango, all fruits are excellent for the glycemic index. They keep that insulin nice and moderate. Although there are 3 no-nos, and those are papaya, mango, and bananas.
Bananas?
Yeah.
No, don't tell me that's not. Oh,
It
gee.
raises
Okay, well,
it.
what about the potato?
Okay.
I mean, potatoes
Every
are...
program tells us to eat a baked potato.
Yes.
Okay, raises the insulin level. But there's a way around it. Have it boiled, and it doesn't raise it as high. There's also another way around it. If you have it with chicken, chicken is a low glycemic food, and it balances it out. So if you want the baked potato, I love baked potatoes. Just make sure the rest of your meal is all low glycemic foods, like chicken, veggies, things like that, and you could still have your baked potato. Just don't have the baked potato as a snack. Like I was talking to this one DJ, and I'll never forget it. He says, last night for supper I had 3 baked potatoes, and I couldn't stop eating all night long. See, that's what insulin does too. Once it gets going, it not only stores it as fat, but it makes you eat all night long.
But Kathy, our vegetables are supposed to be so good for us.
All vegetables are great for you, other than the winter squash and the carrots.
Why?
Because it's going to get the insulin level too high again. That's the only 2, though. Anything else is fine.
All right, what about the brown rice?
The brown rice, there is a way around brown rice, but they did tests on it, and brown rice and white rice reacted the very same in the system. It actually got the insulin skyrocketing again. So if you do want to have it, you have your brown rice with your fish or your turkey or your roast beef. Have it with a low glycemic food.
Who would have thought it? Okay, what about lima beans?
Lima bean, that's interesting. All beans are great for you.
We've been hearing that.
I'm going to tell you, beans actually help flush fat out of the system. There's only one that doesn't, and it was lima beans. And let's just put it this way, I didn't lose any sleep over that one. You know? Okay, the popcorn I took a little harder, but lima beans I said,
You're
oh,
probably
well.
in good company.
Yeah.
Now, honey, that doesn't surprise me.
That one doesn't surprise you? It kind of
No.
surprised me, just because most of the health nuts say have honey. And it does the very same thing as plain sugar does. But we still want something sweet. A better sweetener would be either fructose, which you can get at your health food store, or brown sugar would be much better.
Boy, oh boy, all these things that we
Dried
know.
fruit, that one
Dried
kind of got
fruit?
you, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's supposed to keep
Okay,
us
tell-
regular.
Tell me the
It
truth.
keeps you regularly eating, too. And dried fruit is going to do the same thing to the insulin again. Yeah, it's a high glycemic food. All of these are high glycemic foods, even the pretzels, even the fat-free pretzels, people.
Pretzels. But you see,
Pretzels.
we've been hearing that pretzels are actually, you know, really good for us, and they're
And you
they're
know how they
low in
always tell
fat.
you can have a cup of pretzels. Whoever stopped at that? You know, a bag later.
You mean let's get real?
Yeah, let's get real.
Okay, we missed out any of these little problems here. Well, this is all very interesting news, some surprising news. Next, we're going to find out some foods that will help you feel fuller longer. We've got some good news now for you. Kathy, you're going to tell us about some foods that make you feel fuller longer. That is good news.
You got it. These are the foods that actually have a long chain molecule, so they go through the bloodstream very slowly and release glucose in a natural way. So you stay fuller longer, and excellent even for moods. For instance, cauliflower is great. Cabbage, either green or purple, actually helps flush fat out of the system. Kale is wonderful, and this is my fave, my absolute fave, spaghetti squash. I love it. It's excellent. Apples and grapefruit and oranges are probably your lowest glycemic foods, meaning it doesn't release insulin highly. It just keeps it nice and moderate. So those 3 are great, but all fruits are great, except for bananas, the dried fruit, and raisins.
But and
mangoes and papayas.
Okay.
We don't want to forget those two.
The apples especially.
Apples especially, and grapefruit. And the reason is grapefruit are so great because the University of Florida actually proved that they have pectin in it, and that's what makes you feel fuller longer. Then we're coming to the peas. Excellent. Barley, if you're making soup, always throw barley in it. Our mums knew what they were doing because this makes you feel fuller longer. Buckwheat, I can't say enough good about it. Anybody who's diabetic, check it out because this keeps the blood sugar nice and moderate. Excellent for cravings, buckwheat. It's wonderful. If you're into rice, you'd love buckwheat. As a matter of fact, the barley is another great grain. See, we just don't know. We just keep on thinking we have to eat rice and potatoes all the time. These are wonderful and really keep that blood sugar nice and level.
Are there any exceptions, Kathy?
Yeah, there's a few exceptions. For instance, pasta. You're going to read some scientists say, don't ever have pasta, it's going to make that insulin skyrocket. And others say, go ahead and have pasta. What I have found is that if you have the pasta that is the very big broad pasta, like your rigatoni or the big spiral ones, you're fine. But if you have the thin spaghetti type, like this stuff, that's what makes the insulin really, again, go crazy.
Lots of surprises.
Right. So we want the heavier pasta, the more fibrous pasta. Lentils are a long-chain molecule again. They go through the bloodstream and they're going to make you feel fuller longer. So get into your lentils. Beans, any and all beans, like I said before, other than lima beans. Any and all beans actually help flush fat out of the system, lower cholesterol, and they expand in your body 2 to 3 times their natural size. So that's why you're so satisfied on beans. Now, bread is another exception. Remember you were asking me if there's any exceptions?
What the exceptions are, yeah.
Right. You know the diet breads out there and the wheat breads out there, most of them get the blood sugar just crazy. It just gets, it's a high glycemic food. And they actually say that most breads have as much sugar in them as a small candy does. It's the same thing with the carrots, and now we got breads. Other than, and I like my breads, but I have to stress this, it has to be a very dark, whole grain rye bread or pumpernickel bread. And they proved in studies, Michigan State University proved that people actually lost weight when they would eat the very coarse bread. So again, if the bread melts in your mouth, it's no good. If it's coarse and kind of really textured, excellent. So we want a very coarse textured bread. This one is excellent because it has the 100% whole wheat and 100% stone ground. So it's got the combo of the two. That would be wonderful. Also, one of the best ones is yogurt. Yogurt actually makes you feel fuller longer. And when I was losing my weight, this was interesting. When I would have a bowl of yogurt like around 8 o'clock, I'd be fine. If I didn't have my yogurt that night, I'd be grazing all night long. And then I found out that yogurt is a long-chain molecule food. It releases glucose very naturally, and it's excellent for making you feel fuller. Same as cottage cheese, and this is a soup. And soups are wonderful because it produces a hormone in our body called CCK. And CCK is the hormone that tells the brain that you're full. The only problem is it takes about 20 minutes for the brain to get that message. But soup speeds that up. So soup would be wonderful. And for anybody who takes lunches, you know, you get tired of sandwiches all the time and things like that. This is marvelous. These little soups here, you just add boiling water to them. They're bean soups usually, or couscous, or things like that.
We've whet our appetite. We have lots of questions. I'm sure our audience has millions of questions to ask you, Kathy. We're going to go to our audience right after this.
One of the most important elements is to remember to balance your carbohydrates with your protein. What I mean by that is, let's say you're having a lean protein meal of roast beef and it's 3 ounces. Make your carbohydrate approximately 3 ounces. If you're having a medium portion of chicken or turkey, maybe it's 5 ounces, have a medium portion of sweet potato. If you're having a large portion of fish, because you do get to eat more of that, then you can have a large portion of carbohydrates. And always remember to have lots of veggies with this proportion. And if you are vegetarian, remember, you can get your protein from tofu, vegetable protein, or even spirulina.
We're in our audience now. We all have so many questions to ask Cathi about food. Ma'am, you had a question.
Yes, Cathi, I'm trying to cut down on meat. Now, do you need meat to make this program work?
Well, what happens is we have to balance out the carbs with the protein. But if you're a vegetarian, you do not have to eat meat. I eat very, very little meat. All you have to do is add either vegetable protein into your bean recipes, or another wonderful protein is spirulina. It'll give you the same amount of protein as if you had a burger and no fat. So that's what I'd recommend. Just throw that into either a drink, you know, like one of those shakes. I'm talking your own shakes, not the delicious shake. Just make an orange juice and throw it in, or your bean recipe.
Well, we all eat too much protein anyway, isn't that what you said?
Yeah, we sure do, and it's very hard on the liver and the kidneys.
Okay, we have another question. Ma'am, your question.
Well, I think I know what you're going to say, but I think I've shot holes in my metabolism. I don't drink enough water, maybe a glass in the morning and maybe 3 when I spurge it, you know, at the end of the day and I'm thirsty. I sometimes skip breakfast and I'm on the run all the time, so maybe 3 o'clock, I haven't had lunch, well, I'll wait till supper. And I don't snack except maybe popcorn. I don't eat desserts. I have maybe for supper a potato and a few vegetables and maybe lamb or fish or poultry. I'm cutting down on the red meat.
So
and I can't get my weight off. Even when I was riding a bike 3 to 10 miles a day, I couldn't get the weight off. My daughter says, you haven't made a concerted effort. I have. I don't eat that much.
You're eating all the foods the diets tell you to eat. You said popcorn, rice, you know, and all those things, and you're hardly eating anything. But you can't lose your weight.
And I'm not eating much for breakfast or lunch, and then I'm eating 1 meal at night. So you
Worst
said
thing
eat
for your
several
metabolism.
meals a day.
Exactly. You have to do the complete opposite. You've got to forget the diet mentality. You're still thinking that. I eat less, I'll weigh less. No. You have to actually take and eat 5 little meals throughout the day. It'll keep the blood sugar nice and level. You have to start taking care of yourself. You say you're busy and everything like that. If you don't take care of you, who is going to? So I'm talking little meals. It could be an apple and a bowl of yogurt. It could be a half a sandwich and a grapefruit. I'm just talking very fast, easy things, but little meals throughout all the day. Going to give you more energy. You're going to burn off fat, and you're going to feel better. And drink more water. Up your water. I can't say that enough. Up your water.
It doesn't have to be a lot then, Cathi. It could just be a little, like you mentioned, an apple or
That's
something
right.
like that. You have a question?
Yes. If we're going to drink all this water, how can we keep from retaining the water?
Oh, well, guess what? The more water you drink, the less you'll retain. I drink at least a gallon of water a day. I'm not exaggerating. I drink more water than you could ever imagine. I don't retain water at all. It's people who don't drink enough water retain water. Something else that's excellent for not retaining, I should say, is peppermint tea. It's wonderful, and so is horsetail tea.
Great.
Horsetail tea?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's new to me. You have a question.
Yes, when it gets to be that time of the month, you get all the cravings. For me, all I want to do is park myself in the cereal cupboard and just not come out for a week. How can I stop that?
Number one, the cereal is what's going to keep that insulin just skyrocketing and going to make you want to eat more and more. But also, I've got something that's really going to help you. During that time of the month, we're very depleted in magnesium. And when we are depleted in magnesium, we crave chocolate like no one's business, especially chocolate or peanut butter, by the way, or a Reese's peanut butter bar, whatever might be close. But that's what we tend to crave. By the way, women crave chocolate, men tend to crave protein more, and we both like our carbs. But what you should do is start taking a good calcium magnesium supplement, and also eat more foods that are high in magnesium. Your whole grains, that's your buckwheat, your couscous, your, those kind of things. Start eating them.
Do we answer all our cravings, Cathi?
Yes, if you started eating the low glycemic foods and balanced them out, you would have little or no cravings. I was a chocoholic. I used to eat bare minimum 2 to 3 chocolate bars a day. I mean bare minimum. I have a chocolate bar now and it lasts in my purse at least 3 or 4 days. That's the difference. I can now have a couple of chunks and put it back. That's heaven.
What about coffee? How many drink coffee here? Any questions? I know you're wondering about coffee.
Yeah, I work 8 hours on the phones a day, go through maybe 3-4 pots. What happens?
Well, you tell me. I bet you talk, talk, talk.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting about coffee. It actually, you'll read books saying coffee stimulates the metabolism. Yes, they're absolutely right. It does stimulate the metabolism. It also stimulates the insulin level. So, and it retains water like crazy. It makes you retain water. So I have to tell you, the best coffee is maybe 2 to 3 cups. That would be the best. Try to get an alternative. Maybe get your favorite juice you love. And don't drink the juice just totally like it is. Do half and half. Half juice to half water.
And this gentleman has a question.
I'm almost embarrassed to admit, but I used to be addicted to ice cream. I think I was eating about 1 liter a day, every day. I've sort of gotten over that habit, and I've substituted it with the diet ice cream, but I find that I'm eating twice as much as I used to be. Should I be worried about this extra fat?
Should he be worried, Cathi?
Well, let's talk about fat. Number one, the ice cream has a lot of fat in it, so it's going to satisfy you. The fat-free ice cream is a better alternative, but if you're eating twice as much, is it really solving the problem? It's not really. What would be much better is if you could eat yogurt and you could find your favorite flavor of yogurt. That would be great. Or sherbet would be wonderful. That would be a much better substitute, because I'm not a fanatic on fat. I'm not one of these fat-free this and fat-free that. But we got to keep fat nice and level and moderate in the body. We got to keep it down. About 30% is best. The body can then burn it off. But there's some fats that are actually good for you. And we're going to be talking about them later on. They actually help the body burn fat. The best fats, as far as it goes, for insulin, the fats I'm about to talk about are no different as far as fat content goes. But they keep the insulin moderate. Would be olive oil, canola oil, olives would be great, or avocados. Those are the better fats to go to as far as insulin levels go. But they're still fat. We got to keep it down to approximately 30%, right around there.
Well, thanks, audience, for all those great, intelligent questions. We've learned so much today, but we need to put all our knowledge now into practice. And it all starts at the grocery store. Here's Cathi shopping for fat-burning foods.
I've got a cart full of foods here that actually stimulate how your body burns off fat. Let's get into it. Hot mustard and hot peppers were proven at Oxford Institute to stimulate the metabolism 20%. Also in this category would be your salsa, your hot sauce, and chili sauce. Those are excellent thermogenics. But 2 of the very best ones are cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, I can't say enough good about it. In test studies that they did on this, people found that not only did they lose weight and inch losses, but it cleaned out the arteries, it gave them more energy, and it actually helped hair grow in thicker and faster. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying any bald man's going to become hairy, but you know what? Since I've been taking it, I've noticed my nails are longer and stronger. Cayenne pepper is wonderful for the system, but start really slow. Just start at like 1/8 of a teaspoon and then work up gradually. Put it in everything and anything. Spaghetti sauce, bean soups, chilies, things like this. And if you're not a real cayenne fan, you can actually get it in capsule form. But if you are a cayenne fan, have 1/8 of a teaspoon, put it in tomato juice, and have it about 10 to 15 minutes before your meal. It's one of your best fat burners. Also, right along that line is ginger. Ginger is great. Ginger is probably one of the purest foods you can eat. It actually strengthens the immune system. You know what they say? The Orientals eat on an average 20 to 30% more than Caucasians. And by the way, they're 20 to 30% less in weight. So try ginger. It's excellent. Oh, wonderful for settling the stomach, by the way, or dizziness. It's an excellent food. I'm always asked by my weight loss people if there's anything that works on that spare tire. The good news is there is. It's called unpasteurized apple cider vinegar. They've proven in study work that it actually helps stimulate the metabolism. It's excellent for osteoporosis, by the way, also. So how do you take it? Start off slow again with the unpasteurized apple cider vinegar. Start off at 1 teaspoon and then work up to 1 tablespoon. Have it in a large glass of water 15 to 10 minutes before a meal, and it's going to work on that spare tire. Now, we all know vegetables are great for us. We don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that. But the University of Maryland proved that these certain vegetables actually combine with fat in your system. And then as you drink liquids, out comes the fat. And the vegetables I'm talking about is green cabbage and red cabbage, broccoli, spinach, kale, and celery. And Brussels sprouts are excellent also. So eat your veggies, it is true, but these ones in particular help flush fat out of the system. The University of Kentucky actually proved that beans not only lower your cholesterol, but actually help to flush fat out of the system. How's that work? Well, what happens is they expand in your body 2 to 3 times their natural size. So you can imagine a kidney bean. I mean, hello, this will really help flush fat out of your system. So beans, eat more of them. They have the most amount of protein with the least amount of fat. So they are wonderful for our body. Also, something that's great is apples. Apples was proven at the Kentucky School of Medicine to actually help with hunger pains. And it's because of the insulin level. Apples keep it nice and moderate. So eat as many apples as possible. Forget the 1 a day deal, because they're great for you. Now, grapefruits, if you happen to like them, go for it. There is one myth out there that is really true. The grapefruit diet had one thing good about it, and what it is the pectin in the grapefruit. What does it do? It actually helps dissolve fat. It lowers our cholesterol. The University of Florida proved that. So get into your grapefruits. Sweet potatoes are excellent. Why am I so high on them? Because we do get that feeling when we want that starchy food. And if we go to potatoes, it makes the insulin level skyrocket. Instead, sweet potatoes keeps it nice and moderate. So it's a wonderful dieter's food. And you know what's really great on it? Salsa. Check it out. It's really good on it. Now, last and far from least is soup. Homemade soup was proven by a Dr. John Forte to actually help people not only lose weight, but keep the weight off. He had them have a bowl of soup before lunch and before dinner. Not only did they lose weight, but the more soup they ate, the more they lost. So get in that kitchen and start making your fat-burning foods now. We're always talking about aerobic exercise, and that's important, but building muscle is even more important. Muscle tissue is a highly metabolic tissue. It burns 5 times more fat than anything else in your body. If you added just 10 pounds of lean muscle tissue onto your body, you would actually burn 600 calories a day. You'd have to run 6 miles a day, 7 days a week to have the same amount. And by the way, you get to eat more. So get out there and build that muscle.
Cathi, when you're talking about muscle, of course you're talking about exercise, and that's such a tiring subject. Most of us don't want to do a whole lot of exercise.
It's true. And the thing is, you got to forget that no pain, no gain attitude, because that doesn't work when we're talking about exercise. They did a study. They took 102 overweight couch potato type women. And this was done by Dr. Duncan. He took them and he separated them into 3 groups. He had one group walk 5 miles per hour each and every day, 5 days a week. Group B went and walked 4 miles per hour, 5 days a week. Group C walked 3 miles per hour. At the end of the 6 months, guess which one lost the most?
Tell me the good news.
Group C. The ones who were going only 3 miles per hour. But remember, it does depend on your level of fitness. For you and I, that wouldn't work. But most people go out and they exercise like crazy. If you actually get your heart rate at 80% maximum heart rate, you're going to burn muscle, not fat. That's why running is not beneficial for fat burning. Walking is great. Speed walking, you know, the power walking, excellent, excellent. Rebound is excellent for people who are very, very heavy. That rebound, bouncy thing. Cross-country skiing is wonderful. Hiking. But we want to do things that are fun, and walking is one of your best fat burners.
What about swimming?
Swimming, excellent. Excellent. I can't say enough good about swimming.
What other things do we need to know about exercise, Kathy?
That it doesn't have to be hard. I think that's the most important thing. Consistency is what's more important. Try to get the heart rate at 60%. That's your best. But 80% you're going to burn muscle. But if you kept it at 60% above your maximum heart rate, that's the best for burning fat.
So we don't have to, say, bust ourselves?
You got it.
And I guess, Kathy, what we've learned today is that traditional diets just aren't effective.
That's right, Kirsten. If you've been on the weight loss, weight gain treadmill, you know diets don't work, and today you found out why. You haven't failed, the diet failed you. Throw out the high carbohydrate mentality, the high protein mentality, and keep your fat to about 30%. It would be a much better idea to start eating the low glycemic foods. See which ones you like, and keep the favorite carbs that you like. Keep those in your lifestyle, just have them in moderation. One other key is to balance your protein with your carbohydrate. If you do those three things, you'll not only lose your weight, you'll have more energy, you'll find the mood swings go, and you burn off fat. You're starting a program that works with your body's chemistry, not against it. Go for it. You'll never look back.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy.